It's lights out and away we go. Russell does get away well.
Yeah, solid. Come back. Let's build it up from here.
In the high-speed, high-stakes world of Formula One,
Going wide. Kevin Magnussen into the gravel.
perfection is the goal. But sometimes everything goes hilariously wrong. F1 gone wrong.
What the hell?
A comedy of errors on the track is our journey through the most absurd, comical, and downright unbelievable mishaps in F1 history. Buckle up, tightly, because you're about to see how the pinnacle of motorsport can turn into pure slapstick. From pit crews forgetting how many tires a car has, to drivers colliding with safety cars. Yes, really, these are the moments that made fans laugh, cringe, and ask, did that really just happen? Pit stop fiascos, four wheels, three stooges. Fast forward to the modern era, and Ferrari was at it again. At the 2022 Dutch GP, Carlos Sainz Jr. pulled in for a routine stop only to find zero tires ready at all. Mechanics frantically fetched the missing wheel and fumbled a 12-second stop. Sainz went from 3rd to 11th, and the media branded it a nightmare stop. As one journalist quipped, Ferrari somehow forgot their car uses 4 tires. Some things never change in Maranello, it seems. Ferrari isn't alone in pit calamities. The Haas F1 team had its own slapstick double feature at the 2018 Australian GP. Both Haas cars were running in the top 5 until back-to-back pit stops ended in disaster. First, Kevin Magnussen pitted and left with a loose wheel, forcing him to stop on track. Just a couple laps later, teammate Romain Grosjean pitted, and another wheel wasn't secured, causing his retirement. 2 identical screw-ups in one race. You couldn't script it better. Team boss Guenther Steiner was flabbergasted. It's almost unbelievable to have this in one race, and on 2 cars while running 4th and 5th. It's very disappointing. The pit crew looked ready to cry as their hundreds of winter practice stops went up in smoke in the span of minutes. Haas literally watched the wheels come off their race, twice. Even top teams slip on banana peels. Mercedes experienced a rare comedy of errors at the Soccer GP in 2020. While leading, they pitted both cars together and accidentally fitted George Russell with Valtteri Bottas's tires, and vice versa. A tire mix-up worthy of a sitcom. The result? Chaos, an extra pit stop, and a win snatched away from the up-and-coming Russell. If Mercedes can have an oops moment, anyone can. On-track chaos, crashes, collisions, and crazy moments. Rain has a way of making F1 look like slapstick. The 2021 Belgian Grand Prix will be remembered not for a crash, but for an absurd non-race. Torrential rain refused to let up, and after hours of delays, the cars finally trundled behind the safety car for a grand total of 2 laps, with 0 green flag racing, before the race was abandoned. Those 2 laps were enough to officially count, so half championship points were awarded. Fans sat in pouring rain all day only to witness what was essentially a very expensive parade. Red Bull's Max Verstappen was declared the winner of a race that never actually happened. It was so ridiculous that fans and media called it a farce. F1 bosses later had to review the rules after the embarrassment of handing out trophies for a couple of slow-motion laps behind a safety car. Talk about rain on your parade, this time the parade was the race. Of course, sometimes the comedy is in the intra-team drama, like when teammates take each other out. The cardinal rule of racing, don't hit your teammate, but tell that to the drivers in the heat of battle. One of the most cringeworthy, yet darkly amusing examples was the Red Bull Civil War in Azerbaijan 2018. Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen dueled each other aggressively all race, swapping positions with bold moves. It was great until it all went wrong. Ricciardo misjudged an overtaking move and slammed into the back of Verstappen, taking both Red Bulls out in a shower of debris. Both drivers climbed out and exchanged heated looks, while their team boss nearly exploded. Red Bull had essentially torpedoed itself, turning a potential big points day into a double DNF punchline. Similarly, Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc collided in the 2019 Brazilian GP, skittling each other out in a blunder that had Tifosi fans tearing their hair out. Ferrari-friendly fire jokes flooded the internet as the team endured its first double DNF since the 2017 Singapore GP due to self-inflicted wounds. Even the dominant Mercedes team wasn't immune. Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg famously crashed into each other on the first lap of the 2016 Spanish GP immediately wiping out both silver arrows from the race. It was high drama. Two championship rivals, teammates, in the gravel together while the crowd gasped. And for everyone else, a touch of comedy seeing the untouchable Mercs taken out by each other. These incidents prove that sometimes F1 teams are their own worst enemies. Teamwork? What's that? No catalog of comedic F1 moments is complete without Pastor Maldonado, the Venezuelan driver renowned as a crash magnet. Maldonado had a knack for bizarre incidents, like the time he clipped a wall on the way to the grid or the numerous collisions that peppered his career. Perhaps his pièce de résistance was at the 2015 Monaco GP practice, where his Lotus brakes failed and he plowed straight into a barrier in the most awkward way. Or when he won his only race in Spain 2012, then crashed into a wall in celebration on the cool-down lap, damaging his Williams in Parc Fermé. It's almost as if chaos followed Pastor wherever he went on track. He collected penalties like Pokemon and even managed to flip another car once. Little wonder Maldonado became shorthand for unexpected crash, a true F1 meme. Bizarre encounters, when F1 gets weird. And sometimes drivers themselves get a bit lost. During the 2012 Brazilian GP, Kimi Raikkonen slid off track and tried to rejoin by taking an access road, thinking it would lead him back. To his surprise, he encountered a closed gate and had to make a U-turn on live television before bumping over the grass to rejoin the circuit. Kimi later shrugged it off, joking that he had done the same thing in 2001 when the gate was open. "Somebody closed it this time. Next year I'll make sure it's open again," and he quipped. The sight of an F1 car doing a three-point turn in an escape road was hilariously bizarre. And vintage Kimi, even when he got lost, he insisted he knew where he was going. Even when safety cars stay out of trouble, F1 finds other ways to get weird. During the 2019 Azerbaijan GP weekend, George Russell's Williams ran over a loose manhole cover on track. The sharp metal plate shattered the underside of his car, immediately ending the practice session. As if that weren't enough, when the marshals loaded Russell's broken car onto a recovery truck, the crane struck a bridge overhead, showering the car with hydraulic fluid and causing further damage. Yes, the tow truck effectively wrecked the car even more. It was a chain reaction of misfortune. A drain cover ate the car, then a crane dropped the car. Williams needed a completely new chassis after this comedy of errors. Team principal Claire Williams was understandably livid, but fans couldn't help noting the sheer absurdity. Sometimes the street circuit fights back and wins. And how about when the safety car itself crashes? In a scene straight out of a parody during a high-speed test run at the 2024 Italian GP, the official Aston Martin safety car lost control at Monza's Parabolica corner and skipped across the gravel trap, plunging into the tire barriers. Safety car driver Bernd Mayländer, who has led over 1,000 incident-free laps, suddenly had his own incident. Fortunately, he and his passenger were unhurt and climbed out fine, but the shiny green safety car was badly bashed up. Witnessing the very car meant to keep races safe end up nose first in the wall was peak irony. It was a bizarre scene, and proof that in racing, nobody is immune from embarrassment. Radio Gaga, comedy over the airwaves. Formula One team radios often provide unscripted comedy when things go wrong. Drivers under stress can be blunt, ironic, or downright hilarious. When Romain Grosjean's brakes were failing in a 2018 race, he screamed, "I think Ericsson hit us," blaming a rival who was nowhere nearby. It became an instant meme. Or Kimi Raikkonen, the king of radio gold, who delivered the famous line, "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing," when his engineer gave him unnecessary advice en route to a win. Another time, Kimi furiously demanded, "Gloves and steering wheel! Somebody give it to me, come on!" When a mechanic accidentally took his steering wheel as his broken car was being hauled away in Baku 2017. You could practically hear him stomping in rage, yelling for his missing wheel like a kid who lost his toy. Then there's Fernando Alonso's dry wit. In the hopeless Honda engine days, Alonso compared his power unit to a GP2 engine, the junior formula, over the radio. "GP2 engine, GP2, argh!" he shouted at Japan 2015. Right in Honda's home race, talk about savage sarcasm. And who can forget Sebastian Vettel's numerous funny outbursts, like calling one backmarker blue flag, repeatedly, or his exasperated, "Honestly, what are we doing here? Racing or ping pong?" after a collision. These radio moments, while not errors per se, often stem from things going wrong, and the driver's raw reactions are comedic gems for fans. Perhaps the most iconic frustrated radio message came from an engineer instead. In the controversial 2021 Abu Dhabi finale, Mercedes boss Toto Wolff shouted to the race director, "No, Michael, no, no!" This is so not right. Though that one was more drama than comedy at the time, it has since become a meme, remixed into songs and jokes online. Celebrations and retirements gone wrong. Next, we have some podium antics. In modern F1, one infamous blooper happened at the 2023 Hungarian Grand Prix podium. Lando Norris, excited by his P2 finish, attempted his signature champagne bottle smash, slamming the bottle down on the podium step. The vibration toppled Max Verstappen's winner's trophy from the top step, sending the ornate porcelain trophy crashing to the ground where it shattered into pieces. Worth about $45,000 and painstakingly handcrafted, the trophy was now a heap of expensive shards. Norris glanced back with an uh-oh look, later joking, "Not my problem, it's his, Max's." Verstappen good-naturedly picked up the broken parts with a shrug. The whole scene was straight out of a sitcom. Imagine explaining to a trophy maker that a celebratory cheers destroyed their masterpiece. McLaren even later poked fun by giving Norris a trophy handling course on social media. It was an innocent goof, but one replayed countless times as a comedic footnote to the race. Even off-track celebrations have given us laughs. Remember Kimi Raikkonen's ice cream break? The 2009 Malaysian Grand Prix was red-flagged for heavy rain, and most drivers sat patiently in their cars on the grid awaiting a possible restart. Kimi, however, had already retired with a car issue, so he promptly changed into shorts, wandered to the hospitality area, and was famously caught by TV cameras calmly eating a chocolate ice cream and sipping a Coke while the race was still technically ongoing. An F1 driver chilling with an ice cream as others anxiously waited in their cars. It was an image for the ages. Fans loved it. "Classic Kimi," they laughed. The Iceman literally lived up to his nickname by being cool as ice, cream, amid chaos. That day, Kimi taught us the art of not taking life too seriously, even when you're paid to drive a rocket ship in circles. Finally, there's the strange case of the checkered flag misfire. At the 2018 Canadian Grand Prix, model Winnie Harlow was given the honor of waving the checkered flag, but due to a miscommunication, she waved it one lap too early. The race hadn't actually finished, but once the flag waved, by rule, the race classification was taken from that point. It officially ended the GP at 68 laps instead of 70. Sebastian Vettel, who was leading, had to point out over radio, the checkered flag is out? The mistake could have been disastrous if positions had changed on the final 2 laps. Those laps were essentially nullified. Thankfully, it didn't affect the winner, but F1 had to clarify procedures to ensure only the official timing system calls the end. The premature flag wave became a meme and added to the lore of F1's comic blunders. After all these unbelievable gaffes, one thing is clear. Formula One may be deadly serious, but it also has an incredible sense of humor, even if it's unintentional. These episodes of human error, mechanical mishap, and freak occurrence have become fan-favorite stories, told and retold whenever people need a chuckle about the sport. They are the great equalizer, reminding us that beneath the high technology and corporate polish, F1 is still profoundly human. Mistakes will happen, calamity will strike, and sometimes it will be flat-out ridiculous. So the next time you watch a Grand Prix, remember that lurking behind the quest for perfection is the potential for spectacular imperfection. And when it happens, we'll be here for it. Because of this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. F1 is a sport, but occasionally it's also the best comedy on 4 wheels. In racing, as in life, nobody's perfect, but the mistakes sure do make for a great story.